Hello, RailShock here, and welcome to the first of many SOCOM lore videos. In this episode we will be covering the legendary leader of Fireteam Alpha, Specter. Real name Damone Freehold, Specter was born on June 14, 1980 to an Italian-American family in Chicago, Illinois. Here Specter would grow up his whole life until he would eventually join the Navy and become a Navy SEAL. He would go through BUD/S training alongside Alex Harada, who would later be given the call sign Vandal. Specter would specialize in military ops and urban terrain and become an expert marksman. Specter would first go on low-key missions with various fire teams that needed a sniper for years, until he was permanently put on the newly formed Fireteam Alpha commanded by KAHUNA. Also in the team was second-in-command Boomer. The final member would join in the form of a young rookie called JESTER. Specter's first missions with Alpha would take place in the North Pacific and Alaska, where his team would take down the black market organization the ZMI and the Russian terrorist organization known as the Iron Brotherhood. Later Alpha Team would go on to save a US ambassador and take down a terrorist organization threatening to overthrow the government in Thailand, known as the Ritter Rouge. Later SOCOM would get word that 4 Marines had been captured in the Democratic Republic of the Congo by a European mercenary group known as Preemptive Strike. Alpha Team was sent in and rescued the Marines while destroying the mercenaries' operational capabilities. After the Marines were rescued, one of SOCOM's informants in Turkmenistan was captured by a terrorist group called the Allah Sadikahu. Alpha Team was then sent to go rescue him. After a dangerous and nerve-wracking prison rescue, Alpha Team was sent to a hidden cave base where 2 nukes were stashed. The team fought through fanatic groups of suicidal terrorists before finally arming one of the nukes to destroy both of them. The team escaped intact but was immediately reassigned to commandeer civilian transport to chase down the leaders of the Sadikahu. Alpha Team would then fight through a desolate city overrun by the Sadikahu and kill the leaders before they could escape. However, towards the end of the mission, Boomer was wounded by a friendly fire incident when he got in KAHUNA's way while KAHUNA was firing. Due to the incident, KAHUNA felt like he was to blame and took a break away from the Navy. Boomer couldn't take the leader position because the gunshot injuries kept him from active service for months. Because of this and Specter's heroic efforts, Specter was given the promotion to Fireteam Leader and JESTER was promoted to second-in-command. With Specter and JESTER moved up to the able element of the team, Bravo was filled by War Dog as its leader, and Specter's old friend Vandal as its sniper. Alpha Team would go on to take down terrorist groups such as the Sasari Syndicate in Albania and the RAFB in Brazil. Specter's team would then move on to evacuate aid workers, peacekeepers, and US Embassy staff during an Algerian military coup initiated by a group known as the Algerian Patriotic Front. Afterwards, intel from operatives from Eastern Europe suggested that there were terrorist movements in the abandoned Kaleski naval shipyard in Kamchatka, where a potential terrorist threat called Force Majeure was believed to be building nuclear devices. Wardog and Vandal were replaced with 2 Spetsnaz operatives to work alongside the SEALs. On their first mission, they then found evidence that Force Majeure was indeed creating one. They next went to a nuclear storage facility where Force Majeure was staging a nuclear spill and posed as a nuclear cleanup crew. Specter's team then searched the facility with a nuclear specialist and found that the terrorists had taken uranium from the facility and were going to use it to create a dirty bomb. Wardog and Vandal retook their spots in Bravo element and the team was sent to silently board a cargo ship that Force Majeure had commandeered to take the explosives to Seattle, where they would then detonate them. Specter's team then eliminated the terrorists, defused the bombs, turned the ship around, and killed the leader Valeska Lukanov. The team then ended the mission and were told later on that it was one of the most important missions ever undertaken by a SEAL team. After the mission, Vandal was given a massive promotion to commander and given his own fire team. Wardog also moved on to another fire team, leaving Bravo element empty again. Bravo element would then be filled by a very experienced veteran known as Killjoy and a new young sniper called Simple. The team would go on for a few years on various missions until they were sent back to North Africa to recon the APF, now known as the NAPF. Specter's team would then be sent on various missions against the NAPF, eventually leading to the capture of the NAPF leader, General Mahmoud. After the North African campaign, the SEALs were sent to South Asia to take down a piracy organization known as the Fist and Fire, with Bravo element being replaced by British SBS units. After the South Asia campaign, Specter's team was then sent to Poland, where an ultra-nationalist terrorist group known as the New Slavic Order was planning to take over Poland, and eventually Eastern Europe. Bravo element was replaced by 2 Polish GROM units named Cold Kill and Deadpan. The team is sent through various missions such as reconnaissance, rescuing the Polish First Lady from a terrorist chemical attack and city takeover, capturing a high-ranking terrorist, reconning the remaining terrorist leadership planning to flee to other countries, and finally eliminating the terrorist leader Grick in a chaotic and violent suicidal attack on a brewery Spectre's team were holding up in. After a few years of various low-key missions across the world, Spectre's team was sent to the Central Asian country of Tajikistan to rescue Vandal's team after their helicopters were shot down in the area. The team demoed the helicopter at the crash site to keep enemies from taking supplies or technology from it, then proceeded to look for intel and members of the missing fire team. Unfortunately, Spectre's team found Boomer and a helicopter pilot dead in a cabin. The team then left the area and came back a later day and destroyed an enemy camp and also rescued the CIA agent that Vandal's team was sent in to rescue in the first place. Spectre's team was gradually more and more involved in the Tajikistani rebel conflict, eventually finding and saving Vandal's other members, Aztec and Wingtip. Spectre's team was then sent on a stealth and rescue and secure mission in a valley near an airstrip to rescue a rebel leader named Badger. Later in the mission, the SEAL team found and rescued Vandal, ending the mission. Vandal revealed to Spectre that the rebels weren't behind the attacks. Spectre interrogated some of the rebels, and they insisted that they weren't against the American forces. SOCOM is later informed that the Tajikistani government is tyrannical and is sending its own people to prison and extermination camps. Spectre's team was then sent in to liberate the extermination camp and free its prisoners. Spectre's team was then sent on missions to destroy the enemy communications, radar, and electricity to allow rebel forces to liberate the capital of Tajikistan. After this, Spectre's team secured an oil plant that the Tajikistani government was threatening to demolish, and also went on a mission to clear the way for rebel supply convoys to get to the Tajikistani capital. Finally, Spectre's team was called in to secure goods stolen by the Tajikistani government, and to capture Ismail Kairim, and finally put an end to the conflict. Spectre then shot some epic one-liners, lit his cigar, rode off into the sunset, and assumably retires. Thank you all for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.